Hi friends and friendly subscribers, welcome back to my channel. This is Inner Hill Tarot, and today I just want to make a quick video about should I or should I not back the new Alleyway Tarot and Alleyway Oracle by Seven Ashmont, and yeah, and the collaborators of this Kickstarter campaign. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and comments after you see this video. What do you think? Okay, so yeah, the Alleyway Oracle and Tarot is actually the second round of campaign, if you will, Kickstarter campaign by Seven Ashmont, if I believe that's their name, and identified as they. So yeah, so basically this is like the second time around they do this type of campaign. The first one is like, I don't know when it is again. It's basically right before COVID, and then the campaign of the previous one, which is the Element Tarot, Seven Dane Ashmont, the Publishing Goblin. So it was a successful, very successful campaign, and then COVID hit, and it creates a lot of commotion in the production time and everything. But in the end, it came out like last year, something like that, in the same time as now, like March or April. And in a way, this Kickstarter campaign was brilliant and a seminal work by Seven, because in a way it's introducing a new kind of way of interpreting tarot and what tarot is used for, and also oracle decks, because in this deck, in the Element Tarot deck, it has so many cards, and to me it's actually not even a tarot deck anymore. It's something like provoking a sense of chaos magic, you know. It has like 121 cards, if I'm not wrong, within, or even more, I think. And it's also have like a booster packs, which is I also have all of them. I did all of the silent flip through of all of the decks and the booster pack in itself, if you want to check it out. And what I'm saying now is like they have another campaign, the Alleyway Tarot, which is not the Element Tarot. And on top of that, in the campaign, there's also another two oracle decks, which is like collecting with the magpie style. What is the magpie style is that, for example, I think this type of collecting cards, only the favorite cards from each deck that you have, and then you traded the rest of the cards to other people. This is like become a certain lifestyle of a tarot collector. Instead of collecting the whole deck, they only collecting a card. So for example, in this Element Tarot, there's so many death cards, so I kind of like feel that this is actually death deck. And then I realized that actually within the community of magpie decks, most of them like collecting death cards, or just certain cards, you know. So you have like someone had 400 cards of death and just like keep collecting death. Okay, so I appreciate the first Element Tarot, because it's such a seminal work, and it, again, you know, it's kind of introducing a new way of relating to tarot to more mainstream people. But after I got the deck in itself and the booster pack, and I did the review, I tried to work with it. In the end of the day, I feel that the energies that hold in this deck it's just so much, and in the end I actually never use it for a real readings, and I felt that this deck is good in its way because we can kind of like have a taste of how does it feels like or looks like, but it's just also in the guidebook you can read as well what seven think about each deck or each card rather. But in a way it's good, but also it's not giving me the real experience of the deck in itself. For example, this card is from the Yokai Yochi, right? And it's kind of glossy, and it still have the gold gilding on it, but it's no way near on the real Yokai Yochi, which is like have a different card stock and just different feel altogether. It wasn't glossy, you know, the color is different, it's more vibrant in this one, you know, something like this. And this kind of theme is going over and over again with other decks as well. For example, also the Winder deck that I have, this is like by Seven, or like by Element Tarot rather, and this is the real Winder deck. And so I kind of find myself into like, why am I doing this again? You know, it's nice to have this experience, and it's kind of throwing me into the community of magpie decks. And I actually trying also to have a collection of the death deck, but I found that it's quite cumbersome to do. And in the end of the day, I start to understand myself more that I don't like to collect cards upon cards upon cards, which is have like the same archetype, but not necessarily how can I say this, it's the same archetype. For example, I also wanted to collect death cards because I saw so many death cards in this deck. But yeah, it's kind of actually more costly than actual buying a real deck and just work with the deck, in my opinion. Because also, if I feel that's so disjointed, you know, this type of magpie decks, even though he did try a lot to make it cohesive, meaning that even though there's so many death cards, there's so many towers, he's still trying his best to make sure that all the 78 major and minor arcana is represented in this deck in itself. Okay, and on top of that, we have the booster pack as well, you know, that has some of it is like his work. And to me, the booster pack number 4, which has like most of it his own creation, his own graphic, to me it feels like really, really nice. And in some way, even though it's still have a magpie feeling, but it's more cohesive because it's all his energy. That's what I meant. That's why I feel that having so much cards with so many different people collaborating, in the end it's just kind of confusing when doing the reading, because I don't even dare to shuffle the deck, because then I don't know which one is which, you know. When I want to reset the energy, then I have to match it with the guidebook, and it's just too much work in the end of the day, you know. But yeah, I mean, as a new work, of course it's good, because, and also it's kind of giving the other tarot creator who probably wouldn't get much exposure to get known, right? Because there's so many people apparently like it. And the other reason why I think I wouldn't want to back the new one, the Alleyway Oracle and Tarot, is also because I feel that after thinking about it for a little bit, it starts to feel that this type of campaign, it's not really necessarily a deck anymore. It felt like an advertising for other decks, which is like, of course I understand that some people would love to do, even in the campaign itself, if it's reached certain goal. All the artists that collaborated in the making of Oracle, tarot and oracles, will get more money. So for example, now they're getting $100 or something like that, and it goes up until $500 if they got the campaign got backed until like $750,000 to $1 million. And it's just got me thinking, $1 million is a lot of money, you know, to have like invested in the tarot decks and oracles. And on top of that, also I feel that so many campaign these days is just have so many cards. I understand this is like Jupiter in Taurus, expansion time in material world. I understand that. But, and also another point of view that I'm considering is probably this creator thinking about, look, if I only creating 78 cards in a tarot deck, that it's too easy for counterfeiters to counterfeit my deck and make it smaller and with a poorer card stock and sell it. But if you have like a humongous amount of cards, like, and then with the booster cards already riding on it, right, it's just harder to be copy. Who can copy like 100 plus something cards and selling it for like £5, 5 British pounds to 10 British pounds? It's just harder for the counterfeiters to counterfeit it. I understand that. But in another way, it's also, it's really hard for the customer, because it's just make the shipping charge very expensive as well. Like shipping charge $30 to £30. It's another mass market deck that you can get with a free delivery, right? So, and then also on top of that, you have 121 cards. Are you really need that much cards all the time for reading? This is also one of the reason I'm really ambivalent about the Shadow Familiar's Way Tarot, not the Shadow, Familiar's Way Tarot as well. It's also like self-healing systems instead of just one deck, which is, I also understand she also don't want her deck to be copied. And if it's copied, then it's really easy to spot and say, look, this system is 3 decks instead of 1. So if you only get 1, that means it's definitely a fake. But then guys, shipping costs for the customers, and also like a storage area for decks, you know. And I don't want to go to Familiar's Tarot because it's more in line in a way that it's made by one artist. But this one with 3 decks with so many energy that it's hold, it's also added another dimension that I want to say. Like, it's kind of make me feel that I'm inside social media, where we just like flip through all of our friends' postage, or not postage but posting. So it's like, for one, our attention span, since we have smartphones and social media, is 1 second less than a goldfish. A goldfish can pay attention for 9 seconds, and now human attention span is only 8 seconds Google it if you don't believe me. And it's just like it's in our between 3-dimension and 4-dimension attention, right? And this attention span is also actually our dimension to manifest things. And so in a way that it's good to have a smartphone and social media, because it's kind of like we live in the eternal now, right? We only just like pay attention what's given to us in this given moment. But then again, if you really want to manifest something, you have to have a plan, right? And I felt that to have a reading with tarot deck, a consistent tarot deck is just giving me that. It's just giving me a constant flow of one energy, and then I can see more detail. But if your tarot deck is just like one hit dopamine over another, and it's wanting you to have attention, like after you see this card and then you see this card and then you see this card, it's all very disjointed, and it feels like the way this tarot deck reads, it's like I'm watching my Instagram feed or my Facebook feed, my social media in general, you know. So it's a nice experience to have this deck, to understand myself more and what kind of energy, what kind of consideration in the future, that if I want to bring a deck into my consciousness, do I really want to work with it, or is it like a FOMO, fear of missing out? You know, it's a very good deck in the end of the day to learn about myself more. But do I use it for actual tarot reading? No, I don't. I have it for taking notes, to read one by one of the energy sometimes, which is in itself is helping. But the innate beauty or usage of tarot and oracle decks in itself is kind of missing for me, okay? And yeah, I think it's just the nature. If you go tilt to another point of view in another scale from like regular tarot deck, of course this thing could happen, especially in a seminal work, right? So I'm not going, this is not a dish, this is not a bashing of this Kickstarter campaign, but it's just what I feel about backing yet another deck with a similar style. And now it's times 3, so it's not just like one deck, it's going to be hundreds of cards. Yeah, do I need that or not? But please leave in the comment if you don't disagree with this video, and what do you think, and why do you love the magpie cards, magpie cards, or magpie tarot and oracle deck lifestyle. Maybe I don't get it, you know, and I don't have to get every single thing. Like I said again, I love this deck and I love working with it in very few occasion basis, but not for everyday use. Okay, so thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope this video benefited for you, and let me know what do you think again, and if you back this campaign, and what do you feel, why do you back it? If you're an artist that's also included in this deck, how do you feel being included in this kind of collaborative decks Kickstarter campaign? Okay, so thank you again, and see you in the next video.